I didn't even notice. Looks like I hit like the same frame that I ended the fight. That practice room was pretty good though. I made it all the way to the nights. Bad. Now I was thinking about this a lot because recently I've been talking, because I've been playing this game. I've been talking a lot about how like I primarily play games from the mechanics and like I don't really care about the experience. I just want something I can master. So I watched a bunch of like casual reviews of games that I really love. And I was like, man, maybe I should just play a bunch of games casually and try to like just enjoy the experience and not actually try to get better at the game. I've been debating on doing that lately. The only problem with that is that I don't make any money doing that, so it's like... But it might make me enjoy games more. When you finally finish this no damage thing, it has to be the most random, biggest waste of time thing you've done, right? No, that would definitely be DMC1 no damage. It's not even close. I spent a month on that. And I never even finished it. And I just like, by the end of it, I was so over it. I'm like, this is so not skill based that I just stopped. I didn't even do it. I don't think that'll work. Probably not, yeah. I just don't really enjoy video games in that way. Yeah, but I like, maybe I could just like turn off my brain and stop thinking about the gameplay mechanics and just enjoy the whatever experience is being given to me. You know? That's probably not possible though. To be honest. It's just so ingrained in me. Anytime the answer is just stop thinking about it and try to have fun, it never works. That's true. I usually tend to have more fun when I think more about things. Honestly. You find a run you might think is fun and try speedrunning it before you enjoy it first? Not really. Most of the time it's like I pretty much exclusively pick games to speedrun based on stuff I've played in the past and enjoyed casually a lot. That combined with like a mixture between that and what I think would be good content, basically. Or if it's a brand new game and I'm doing it purely for content. Like I don't think I would have ever played RE4 Remake again after the first playthrough if I didn't have plans to speedrun it for the money. If that makes sense. Because I just didn't enjoy it enough to like warrant playing it more than once. So like if RE4 Remake had came out 20 years ago, I probably would have never have speedrun it. Right? Because I just wouldn't have played it more than once. Yo, Tom Joker, thanks for giving the sub to Do You. Appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. I love them turn-based RPGs, just like my boy WaifuRuns here. Yeah, huge fan, dude. Any Silent Hill games that I've played that I've enjoyed? I don't know. I played through 1, 2, and 3, and I can say that my experience was enjoyable, but I wouldn't say that they were good games. Like, you know what I mean? I enjoyed them for very different reasons than I enjoy video games. First playthroughs are like much better content than actually playing them, if that makes sense. Like, I can never get myself to sit down and be like, okay, I'm gonna play this game for the first. I was thinking about it last night. I ended stream early. Or 2 nights ago. I ended stream early. No, it was yesterday. And I ended stream early and I was like, you know, maybe I should try to just like play a game. Like just for fun. And I really liked Metro 2033 and I really liked Metro Exodus, but I never played Exodus. I played Last Light. I like both of those games. And I was like, well, I could sit down and just play Exodus and just like try to enjoy it. But I'm like, that'd be way more fun to do on stream. Like, I don't think I would enjoy just like sitting there playing by myself. It'd be much more fun to like do it as content and try to be entertaining and stuff, you know? Like, I don't think I could get myself to just sit down and play it. But see, I've replayed 2033 on stream. And it's one of those games where I'm like, yeah, I probably never play this again. Because it's just not that kind of game. Like, most of it's cutscenes and walking around, and the actual gameplay isn't that engaging. Like, I already know the narrative. I've read the book. The book is way better than the game. So... I'll play the new Mario casually. Maybe. See, like, that's something that would be fun. This is like a video game, you know? Like, when I played Celeste, that was really enjoyable. When I played Celeste for the first time. But it wasn't even, I don't know. That was, like, too engaging. I just, like, didn't even talk, and I was just, like, super sweat mode, just, like, basking in the mechanics, because the game is so good, you know? What game by Speedrunning has the most complex mechanics? Doom Eternal. Let's easily Doom Eternal. Not even close. True that, Groovy Hoovy. I don't mind it though. I love doing it. It's I think I just think too much. I just play the game. That's why I'm like, bro, maybe I should just like, maybe it would be very cathartic for me to just like play some old games casually and not try to do anything special with them, and then maybe just like make a review of the game, you know? Just like, I know no one would watch it, but like just to do it, just to get in that headspace of like just enjoying the game casually. I feel I'm very unrelatable to most people, which probably hurts my content. It's hard for like, especially, you know, I play 500 600 hours of RE4 Remake and I get really jaded because I hate the mechanics. And then people come in and they're like, man, I love this game. Isn't the merchant's voice so funny? And I'm like, I fucking hate you as a person. you know what I mean? I feel like that is like not ideal, fortunately. Because it's just like so different from the way I enjoy the games and what is in my priorities that I'm just like, We're not the same, you and I. I swear to God, that was way too early. But it worked. Left 4 Dead, the type of game is not fun if you're playing solo. No, I have fun playing it solo. It's a lot harder solo. That'd be so fun, at least for me to watch, to be honest. I love your first playthroughs. Yeah, maybe then. I kind of did that with Ghost Runner. The problem with that was I just didn't like the game very much, so. I might do it, maybe. Why do speedrunners prefer using the rifle over the shotgun? Because it's better. Faster. If speedrunners are doing something, it's because it's faster. That's the whole point, actually. People complain that speedrunners are always angry, but they forget that this is their 30+ multi-hour long no-hit attempt of Dead Space remake or something. Yeah. Yeah, people tend to forget that, like, yeah, you would also be upset if you've been trying something for 500 consecutive hours. Right. But I get it. That's why it's a shame when you're like not in a flow state and you're like malding when you get a really impressive record. Because in the YouTube video is just you malding. Right? Like that happened with DMC1, DMD 100% for me, where that run is just like probably the most impressive thing I've ever done in my life. But half of the run is me just ranting and being super fucking tilted because that's my, you know, 10,000th attempt at this dog shit category that is like burning me alive. So the viewer experience for the record is like not that good for like half of it because I'm just like balding. I mean, it's understandable, but you know, not the best viewing experience. The best is when you get like a really impressive thing, but you have like a really good conversation during it. Oh yeah, it's like going to the gym for VOV, you know, like in the moment it sucks a lot of the time, you know, but afterwards you feel great. It's like I did that kind of thing, you know. Well, I never put on up front. I can't. It's impossible. I don't care enough to put on a front. Bro, sometimes you can do that actually. Like you could just like sheer force of will a game into like making things work. I don't know. I can't explain it. It's probably just like survivorship bias, you know, like confirmation bias. But there have definitely been times in OG RE4 at the very least where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna PB now. Like this run I'm PBing, and then I PB'd that run. That probably has more to do with like your own performance and your mental state when you're like deciding you're gonna do something. It's like the game is listening, bro. You just have to simply decide that you're going to do the thing. And then once the thing is done, then it's over. I also have this problem where if I get really close to doing something but don't actually succeed, my brain is just like, well, you did it. Good job. And then like, I lose my ability to care. That's what happened with DMC 1, no damage. Is I finished the game with no damage taken except for one little thing at the very end so many times that my brain is just like, you already did it. Like, you don't have to do this. You already did it. You know? So I just could not care. Like, I just couldn't get myself to care. Because in my head, I've already done it. Especially since the thing that I lost the run to was random. It's just like, you have achieved the skill-based thing. Right? Like, any extenuating factors were out of your control. So therefore, you have actually done the thing and you don't need to keep trying. Kind of feel that way about this challenge run too, because I literally got hit by the very final enemy because the elevator decided it wasn't going to go up. That's like just not my fault, so I've already done it, you know. Thanks, Sweetbird. How'd you enjoy? Gaslight yourself into success? Exactly, bro. Yeah, exactly, Ruby Hibby. Like, you're playing Inferno on Remake and you get killed by Nemi during the animation of grabbing the gun. Like, something that just shouldn't happen and you feel like it's out of your control. And then you're just like, yeah, I've done it. Like, you just lose your desire to do the thing anymore because according to your brain, you've already completed the thing. Like, it's already over, you did it. You get no additional satisfaction from doing it again. Because obviously I play games for the immersion, characters, world building, story, etc. So seeing, you know, people think about the games completely differently gives a whole deeper level of appreciation. See, but here's the thing though. Is it a deeper level of appreciation or is it an incorrect level of appreciation? You know, the longer I've been doing speedrunning, the more I think the YouTube commenters are actually right. Also, how did that block the shot? This is ridiculous. Like, when people say that you're playing the game wrong when you speedrun it, they're actually right. Because the game is never designed to be played that way. Like, you're not supposed to care about the mechanics. You're supposed to buy the game, and then 30% of people who buy the game are not going to ever beat the first chapter. You know, that is the intended audience for 99% of games. Right? Like, the intended audience for Remake is the 70% of people who buy the game who are only going to beat it one time. So is caring about the mechanics a deeper level of appreciation, or is it literally playing the game wrong? Because quite literally the game is not designed to be played more than one time. And it's like the classic speedrunner YouTube comment of like, you're playing the game wrong when people are speedrunning. And honestly, I think they're right. That's not true. I can enjoy playing games that I speedrun casually all the time. That's not true at all. But the games that I like to speedrun are games that like are mechanically interesting enough that even if you're good at them, they don't become boring. That's the main difference here. The people that say that they, I don't know. I think the primary reason for people thinking that games get boring after you learn the speedrun tech is the games that they are playing are so easy that if you learn the speedrun tech, then there is nothing else to the game and the difficulty is just gone. But like, here's a good example, like Devil May Cry 3, you know? Like that game just mechanically is so engaging that even though I have an insane amount of hours in it and I've had multiple speedrun world records, I still enjoy playing the game a ton, even on normal difficulty, just casually. Because there's just a lot going on mechanically there and it's just enjoyable to engage in those mechanics. And there is still stuff to learn mechanically at the highest level, even for the highest level player. But you know, you play like OG RE4 and you become like world record level at the game's mechanics, then there is nothing else to do. Like the game doesn't have enough depth for you to be able to engage casually at that deeper level anymore. But there's just nothing left, right? Or like an even better example is RE2 Remake, right? Like you play RE2 Remake 2 or 3 times, you'll master the mechanics because there aren't any, and you'll memorize every item location, and then the game becomes like mind-numbingly easy. You could barely fight and play an RE4 original. Well, that's the thing, right? Because that's most people's experience is like, even engaging with the controls themselves is difficult. But if you put enough time into it and actually master it, like you have to if you want to speedrun it, then you just master the game's mechanics and controls. And if that's all there is to beating the game, then the game is easy. And really, like at the lowest level, all there is to learning a speedrun is just like memorizing where items are and where you're supposed to go and mastering the controls. And if doing that makes it so the game is easy and there's really nothing to engage with anymore, then like, yeah, personally, I think that just means that the game isn't that interesting to begin with. I swear RE4 feels like tank controls, dude. That's because it is tank controls. Yeah, Left 4 Dead's a good example of something that's not like that, right? Like just because you master the mechanics doesn't mean that the game gets boring because everything is different every time. And the stuff that is like attacking you is quite engaging to play with, even if you're really good at the game, right? Like there is something viscerally fun about dead stomping a hunter and killing it while fighting a horde, right? Like even if you're the best in the world at that game, like that is still going to be fun. Like walking around a hallway with a zombie in it in RE2 Remake is not going to be fun once you've done it like 10 times. Because like the act of going around the zombie in the hallway is not that engaging. Yeah, exactly. Snake. It's like, and there's nothing wrong with the game being designed that way, right? But if you're playing RE2 Remake and it's like trying to dig like all of the value out of its mechanics, you're definitely just playing it the wrong way, right? Because it's not designed to be played that way, and there's just nothing to dig into. Yeah, I mean, something being random doesn't inherently make it more interesting. The reason why it's interesting is because the game's mechanics are just fundamentally fun. Like, it's just enjoyable to dead stop a hunter while you're fighting a horde. It's enjoyable to run away from a tank. Like, it doesn't matter that it happens in a different place every run. I mean, it helps, but it's not like the determining factor by any means. Because there's randomness in a game like RE2 Remake, right? Like, not a lot, but a zombie might be in a slightly different part of the room than they were the last time you played the game. And, you know, the way that you engage with them is still the same boring thing. You just walk around them, right? And that's the problem. I mean, not necessarily a problem, but that's my problem, is that the act of walking around the zombie is not engaging. It's just boring, right? And once you know where the zombie is, and once you know where the items are and where you need to go, then that zombie becomes a non-issue, because there's a 0% chance that they will ever attack you, because you know where they are, you know where you're going, you know where stuff is. So even if it were random where they're placed, it wouldn't matter, because, oh, look, there's a zombie. Let me do the same 2 things I do to avoid zombies. Which, again, is fine. It's a totally perfectly fine way to make a video game, but mechanically, that's just not that interesting. And so if you do get good at the game, and you learn all the information that you need to learn to be good at the game, then the game just becomes instantly unfun, because, well, you've mastered the game, and having even a little bare minimum amount of mastery will make the game unfun. Because when the game is mastered, the mechanics aren't that enjoyable. Nice crit, by the way. I think a lot of it has to do with feedback and just how engaging the mechanics are in general. Like, if you look at something, a good example here, probably Dead Space 2. That game is entirely scripted. Every necromorph is in the exact same spot every single run, except for maybe 2 or 3 rooms in the whole game. But fighting necromorphs is really engaging. Like, cutting off their limbs and using stasis and throwing their limbs back at them with kinesis and stuff is all really fun. So it doesn't matter that every enemy is in the same exact spot every run. Because the gameplay mechanics are just really engaging. So being like really good at Dead Space doesn't necessarily make the game unfun. Like learning how to speedrun Dead Space, even if you're speedrunning glitchless, doesn't make the game less fun, really. How would I make RE2 Remake more engaging? I don't know, adding actual mechanics. But then it wouldn't be RE2 Remake, so I just wouldn't. What is the need to make RE2 Remake more engaging? There isn't one. It's like the best-selling RE game, right? So they hit their target demographic and they made their money, so mission accomplished. You're doing laundry, please help. Sorry. I don't do laundry, that's my girlfriend's job. Ever play RE1 Remake? Yeah. I feel the same way about RE1 Remake. Like, you don't actually do much playing the video game. You just walk around, and once you memorize where all the item locations are and where all the enemies are, then you can really easily just avoid everything. And like, don't actually have to engage with the game. Being good at RE1 Remake makes the game less fun. Straight up. Jesus Christ, man. I really liked RE2 Remake for the atmosphere and the characters more than anything else. I played it enough to feel like I understood the characters and learned everything I could about them and the world around them. That's kind of it. Yeah, I mean, that's what the game is made for. So my whole point here is basically, if you are trying to get good at RE2 Remake and like you want to like master its mechanics, you're literally just playing the game wrong. Like the game is not meant to be played that way, and therefore it is not going to be engaging, right? Like it's not going to be a rewarding experience to try to master the game. Which is fine, right? That's totally fine. Because it's not supposed to be. But my whole thought process is like the YouTube commenters are actually right? Like that's, if you really think about it, they're correct. Like speedrunning or doing a challenge run in those type of games is literally playing the game wrong. Now, I mean, you're entitled to play the game wrong all you want, obviously. And if you find it fun, then more power to you. But as someone who's done it for a really long time, there are definitely certain games that are more built for it than others. And certain challenges and certain games, like, are just not going to be engaging because they're just literally not designed to be enjoyed at that capacity. True for all classic RE, not knowing it is the best way to play. That's why they have a time attack mode. Yeah, agreed. But I don't see, personally, I don't find that very engaging. Like interacting with something for the first time and just like having no bearings and no control over what's happening, and then just like wandering your way through the experience is not what I find enjoyable, really. Like, it can be enjoyable, but that's not what I like to do with my free time mostly. I'd much rather build mastery over something that I think is, like, worth building mastery over, right? Like, instead of just doing a casual walk on a trail and getting the sights, I would much rather run a track and try to get better at running that track, you know? Because the track is literally built for competitive running, and I find it more engaging and rewarding to try to get better at running that track. Like a lot more rewarding. Well, no, see, the thing is, Souls games pretend that they're actually about mechanics, but actually they're even more about the experience than something like Resident Evil games. Souls games aren't about the mechanics. If they were about the mechanics, then they'd have good feedback systems that actually let you learn how to play the game, and they wouldn't be complete bullshit. But Souls games aren't about mechanics at all. Souls games are about punishing you for playing them. Souls games are about building the experience that makes you feel like you overcame something really difficult, but it doesn't actually do that in a way that is fair or has like learnable, engaging mechanics. It does that by just throwing endless bullshit at you, which is very different. Like, the difference is, if you want something that's actually built for some sort of a competitive high-level play, that's gonna feel a lot more equivalent to like running a track, you know, than it would be going on a stroll. But the Dark Souls equivalent is you're running a track, except for at random intervals a car drives onto the track and tries to run you down. It's impossible to predict when the car is coming, and the car doesn't actually add any value to like the skill of running the track itself. It just is there to make it harder for you, just because. Like, sure, running on a treadmill when someone throws bricks at you intermittently is a lot harder than running on a treadmill, but that doesn't make it a better competitive experience, right? Like, that's much more engaging than just walking, but that doesn't make it a good competitive experience. When did Peep start doing the pause buffer rifle thing? The day the game came out. Isn't it the same thing for most competitive speedruns? There's always going to be those theoretical bricks thrown at you. Yeah, but some games are better, have more or less bricks than others. I totally agree though. You're assuming my default position isn't that most speed games are dog shit speed games, because that is what my default position is. I would argue that 99.9% of video games are not good speed games. In a sense, but if all players are having random bricks thrown at them, that would make it part of the competition? Sure. But is the Olympics going to put running on a treadmill with random bricks being thrown at you in the Olympics? No, because it's not a really good form of competition that people actually care about. Right? Like if you're talking about competitive integrity or making something an engaging competition, that is just an inferior form of running, right? Like if you have the option to choose regular running or running with random bricks thrown at you, you're just going to choose regular running because there's no incentive to choose the other, right? I would say it just makes it inherently less interesting because it becomes inherently less competitive, right? I was lucky. Like for entertainment value, something less competitive can be more entertaining. But if what you care about is the actual competitive integrity of the event, then that is just by far less interesting, right? And as someone who's competing in it, that is what I care about. Is like the quality of the competition itself. Yeah, but I'd like, you know, the athlete doesn't give a shit what the crowd thinks. And honestly, I don't think that's true either though, because if something is random, then people aren't going to want to watch it competitively, right? Like, there is a reason that the Olympics is the way it is, you know? Like, people do genuinely want to watch real competition about things that are fair. I think there's something inherently interesting about fair competition, right? Like if you had two rival forms of basketball, one where 50% of the time the shot lands and 50% of the times it doesn't, just on pure chance, like the actual fucking hoop is just closed half the time randomly, and you have regular basketball. I think that in the marketplace of ideas, regular basketball would win and have a bigger audience, right? Like, because it's just more competitive and therefore more interesting. Like, sure, there might be some novelty in the 50% chance basketball game, and it might, for a little bit, be more interesting. But in the long run, the fact that it's not competitive because of the randomness is going to make it not last. I agree with that. That's why you can't use weapons in UFC, or even a better comparison, that's why there's weight classes in UFC. Right? To make the fight as fair as possible. You want the skill to be the part where the individuals shine and what makes people to win or lose, right? Like, yeah, sure, Francis Ngannou might win almost every single fight he ever gets put in on the planet, but that's because most people don't weigh 300 pounds, right? Like, if you put him against only other 300-pound people, then, you know, it's a lot more likely that he could lose the fight.
Whoa, you are too kind.
Yes, Mascus. Thank you so much for the gifted sub to Savs. Appreciate it. Much love. Curious if the competitive aspect is so important. Why do you prefer speedrunning to esports? So their competitiveness? That assumes that I don't. I have way more hours in CSGO than I do in any speedrun. Like, it's not even close. I have like over 4,000 hours in CS. The most hours I have in a speedrun is like 2,200 or something. It's a lot more engaging of a competitive experience because it's actually competitive. It's okay, Virgil. They've been good. Thank God for the bonus. Bro, how do you have so much health? Not fair. Ever tried fighting games? No. That's the same reason that I stopped playing Counter-Strike for a really long time as fighting games, is that like I enjoy competitive environments, but I don't like when people are just needlessly toxic. I think I would have probably like tried to go pro in Counter-Strike if I had found Face It earlier. But unfortunately, my only exposure to Counter-Strike was Pro CS that I watched on Twitch, or like fucking just people calling me the N-word and yelling at me and fucking in voice comms and MM. That's like my only experience with it, right? So like if I had known that there was a competitive environment like Face It or something and joined a league or something, then I probably would have kept doing it. But that's just like what the competitive environment is for casuals. Just extremely toxic. That's actually why I got into speedrunning, because I wanted to do some sort of competitive gaming where people wouldn't call me the N-word. Like, none of that shit happens in real competitive environments. At least it shouldn't, you know. In theory, it doesn't. But you get put into like a mock online competitive environment with anonymity, and then that shit happens. And it kind of ruins the experience. Bro, why am I always out of ammo? You know what? I'm gonna play it super safe. I'm gonna go back to the merchant and sell and rebuy the TMP. Thank you, sir. Sorry for Remake live up to my expectations. Oh, it far surpassed them. I thought this game was going to be dog shit. And I was right, but you know, for the casual experience, it's not. I thought a casual experience was going to be dog shit. Would you be excited about an RE5 remake? Maybe with better companion AI? I am convinced that Capcom has stopped making video games for people that like mechanics and are only pandering to like experience enjoyers. So frankly, I would prefer that Capcom just not make any more video games ever again. So that way people will stop asking me to play them. But that's obviously not gonna happen. So sure, I would love to see an RE5 remake so I can make a fuck ton of money by playing something I don't care about. Those are my two very split opinions. I'm gonna play this really safe. I have a ton of those. Favorite skateboarding game? Skate 3. How could you stop playing a game because people are toxic? Just mute or decrease soy intake? Well, you know, when you're playing a game like Counter-Strike, that's a 5v5 competitive game that heavily relies on communicating with your teammates. When the only competitive environment that you have is one where no one takes it seriously and everyone just shit talks each other and refuses to cooperate or communicate, then you're literally just not playing the game. That's like one of the problems with Counter-Strike for sure, is that the only way to get an actual competitive environment is to play something like Face It. Like, you are literally just not playing Counter-Strike unless you're playing like on Face It with a 5 stack. That's just not Counter-Strike. You're playing a different game, right? Like, and it's still way different than what Pro CS would actually be like real Counter-Strike, but it's at least real Counter-Strike. But see, the game I love is Counter-Strike. I don't love, you know, solo queuing into 2 nonverbal teammates and 1 Russian who's gonna call me the N-word the whole game. Like, that's not what I like playing. What I like playing is, you know, I'm playing my position, they're playing their positions, we make calls, we do rotates, you know. Like, that is actual Counter-Strike, right? So I don't want to sit here and play this non-Counter-Strike game. I'm going to just find somewhere where I can actually play Counter-Strike, which just so happens to be, you know, third-party platforms for Counter-Strike. But yeah, I mean, when I was 16, I didn't really know that Face It existed. So for me, it was just like, that's the only way you can play Counter-Strike is matchmaking. And if I can't get a good experience here, then there's just nowhere to go. And like, I genuinely wanted to get better at the game and learn how to play proper and make calls and stuff. And then when I tried to do that, my teammates would just like shit on me and just throw the game and stuff. It's not that my skin wasn't thick enough or whatever. It's just that was not the kind of environment I wanted to be in. I wanted to play the actual game, you know? Wanted to play actual Counter-Strike. And that environment where people are yelling slurs at you all the time is not the environment where you can play actual Counter-Strike. And I mean, even on a platform like Face It, you still get that problem from now and again. But most games are pretty good. It's a lot better than matchmaking, that's for sure. What do you think about Battle Royale games? They're fine. I played quite a bit of PUBG. The problem with the Battle Royale games is that it's a lot of, you know, spend 20 minutes wandering around collecting resources and you don't see anybody, and then instantly die to a sniper that you had no chance of encountering, like outside of that, or like you just instant die to a sniper somewhere.
Hell yeah, thanks for the support.
And it's just like, well,
John and test big weebs for 12 months. He cool 1 year. How's it going today, waifu?
yo, Jointus, thank you for the year. Goddamn, for a long time. Appreciate you. But yeah, at some point I just got tired of like, oh my god, of just wandering around for 20 minutes to instantly die to someone I didn't even see, and I just stopped playing. That was really close. How is your leg not blown off yet? There we go. He's gonna be a little tight. He's kind of far forward. What's up, Savs? This is a good look. What's been the main run killer so far? Every single time it's something different that's really small and doesn't actually matter. Yeah, that his leg would just not blow up. It's a little scary. After we get past turret skip, basically the run is guaranteed. I have strats that are really safe now that I can do. So I won't lose the run in ways that I lost it earlier. Chapter 7's pretty free. So I'll play it really, really safe. But turret skip is ass. It's coming up right now, actually. Second flash, just in case. Hello. Thank you. If the Sadler fight free, you just shoot him with a rocket launcher. Simple. Come on, dude. Give me the right attack. Not gonna. That's fine. Thank God I made a second flash. No code's random. I think they're only random on pro. Monster is awful? What do you mean? I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, turtle and a half shell. Go ninja, go ninja, go, 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 go. Bro, the Ninja Turtle movie is the best piece of Ninja Turtle media that exists. It's so 90s, I love it. Yeah, with Vanilla Ice, bro, it's so good. Does the game pause while you're doing the door code? Yeah. What, do you actually expect Resident Evil to build tension by like making you do a puzzle without pausing the world space? Yeah, right, bro. That would actually be like kind of scary. Resident Evil would never do that. All right, GG, it's already over. We did it. Attempt 208. Feels good, man. GG. All right, play it super safe. Clean. Manifest a working elevator? We don't need a working elevator. I'm killing everybody. I ain't leaving it up to chance. I only have one heavy grenade. That's so unfortunate. I'm gonna save it for where I know it's the most useful. Ooh, this is an interesting situation. I think I flash here. That seemed like the best move. There will be no accidentally walking into the lasers. I need to go see if I can buy more gunpowders from the merchant. If I can't, then that's going to be unfortunate, but... I don't remember which set of gunpowders I bought, or if I bought both sets already. I did buy both sets already. It's the best attempt so far? No. I'll be Halloween to boot. I did already buy both sets, unfortunate. Alright, cuckoo. I really, really need more sniper ammo. Bro, use the fucking charm. Jesus. Well, I'm really glad I meleeed there. That would have been bad otherwise. The game is absolutely fucking me on rifle drops right now. Like I'm getting reamed on rifle drops right now. Like at this point, I probably should have just fucking not reloaded the rifle and then sold and rebought the rifle and re-upgraded it. Wait, what? You can go over that wall? Huh? This is what I mean, right? This is what I mean by like, it's not skill based. This is exactly what I mean by it's not skill based, by the way. Like, this has never happened in the hundreds of runs I've watched. Like hundreds, if not thousands of runs I've seen in this game. I have never once seen that Novi go over this pillar. I thought there was an invisible wall there, actually. Like, I'm pretty sure that there is just... Like, I thought 100% that there was an invisible wall there, and he couldn't go over that. It's just like, the game is just bad, you know? It's just random. There's nothing you can do. Don't risk it. There's no risk. It's not a thing that can happen. That literally can't happen. I have literally done hundreds of runs, watched hundreds of runs, and not once has that ever happened where that Novi even went to the other side, let alone hit you. It's just, no hit runs are not skill based. That's all it is to it. So, like I said, what's the most challenging part? Someone asked me earlier. It's just the game not malfunctioning for the whole playthrough. That's the hardest part. Like, straight up. There was basically nothing I could have done to avoid that because I'm pretty sure I'm the only person on the planet that knows that can happen now. And I only know it can happen because it happened. Right? I've done that exact movement so many times and never even remotely had a problem. And I've seen hundreds of runs from runners do that exact movement and no one's ever had a problem. And yet here we are. I have to play this dog shit game for another day, probably. And I'm like not even mad, you know? Because it's just it's not like I could do anything about it. There are no stakes in a no-hit run because there's never any tension. Because it doesn't matter. Like, it's just not skill based. This is so dumb. And, you know, I could have played it super safe and killed them both with sniper, but the game just didn't drop me sniper. Like, ever. I never had sniper ammo. Like, so what do you do, right? Well, see, but that's the thing. I just put no stakes in the challenge whatsoever. Like, it's not a valuable challenge to me at all. I just don't care. So it doesn't make me mad because it's just like, it wasn't skill based in the first place, so. Nothing to be upset about. If you could die any time, why get worked up when it's not in your control? Exactly, right? Like, it's... It doesn't matter. There's no point in being invested at any point because you just know that there's nothing you can do to influence the outcome. There's a lot more enemies here than I thought. GG. I guess that selling and rebuying the rifle is the right play. I guess. I didn't think it was necessary. But it's just like, whatever. Yay, my second one-hit run. So fun and engaging. What good content. This is exactly what we were talking about earlier. Yeah, exactly. I already did it. Like, I did it. Congrats, GG. But the game just decided no because it's not a good test of skill, you know? It's exactly what we were talking about that run. Like, no-hit runs are just not a good skill check, right? Like, I'm not even excited. I mean, well, I didn't do it, but, you know.